Hey everybody, welcome back to Open Fire Tactical. I'm your host Buttonhole. Welcome again. Thank you so much for coming back. Oh my goodness. This has been a crazy ride. So something I wanted to touch on today, and I'm just kind of chilling. I do apologize for wearing sunglasses. Man, the sun is just right there. Super bright, and I don't have a hat to Anyway, a couple things I wanted to talk about, and it was pertinent to our channel and what we do here at Open Fire Tactical, without being tactical and wearing all this stuff, just being regular Joes out on the gun range, shooting, reloading, and protecting our families and our loved ones. And this weekend, April 12, my wife and I, Mrs. Buttonhole, we went to Sacramento to attend a memorial service for our daughter, and that's pretty difficult, and without telling you guys about all my problems and stuff, but we went to Sacramento. Of course, when I go there, I bring a California compliant firearm because I'm going to protect myself and my family first and foremost, and you never know what's going to happen. Well, after the memorial service, there was a wedding, and we attended that, and so it was sad and happy, bittersweet, right? She passed away. It's an unfortunate accident, and these things happen, and we're not in charge. We're just along for the ride, and all the glory goes to my Father in heaven. Praise God, and it's His will, and it's His plan. It's not ours. We're just dealing with the wake of the loss. If I'm making sense, somebody's departure is never an easy thing to get through, but through time, those wounds heal, but you never get over it. You just learn to live with it and with that loss. So her end of life with the beginning of a new life. Two of our closest friends got married, and so that kind of on a sad day, that's the sweetness. So anyway, after all that was all done, we went to our hotel in Sacramento, and if you guys are familiar with Sacramento, we were at the Holiday Inn on J Street and I-5. So that's on the west end of Sacramento, right by the river. K Street Mall, there's a tunnel that takes you to Old Town Sacramento. My wife and I, we were in the parking garage getting our things and getting ready to go into the hotel when rapid fire rang out. And in my brain, I counted 17 rounds. And I just looked at my wife, and she was scared, and I'm like, don't run. We don't know where to go. We'll just stay right here in between these vehicles. I looked across the parking lot. I saw a man with his wife and 3 children, and they were frozen. And I called out to him. I said, "Are you guys okay?" And apparently they couldn't hear me. So we just kind of stayed put. And long story short, 2 people were shot. Fortunately, by the grace of God, this guy could not shoot. They had superficial wounds, and so they were treated and released right there. I think one gal went to the hospital, but she was cognizant. She was sitting upright and talking. So on the news, by the time we got up to our room, we were on the 15th floor looking down directly on top of the crime scene. And the news was there, lickety split. I got to give props to Sacramento Police Department. They were Johnny on the spot. I mean, they were there. Well, when seconds count, cops are there in minutes or longer. But they were there relatively quick. We heard the sirens relatively quickly after shots fired. And so they had to have been in the area. I think they're probably most likely always in Old Sacramento. But I'm assuming, and I don't like to assume, I want to be accurate, but man, they were right now. So good on them. And, praise God that this guy couldn't shoot the broadside of a barn. But needless violence, really. And so my point today was I want to say this correctly, reciprocity. So if you have a concealed weapons permit in any state, all states are supposed to recognize it. And I just confirmed with my buddy Matt at Precision Marksmanship that has not actually gone through yet. So had that guy come into the parking garage where my wife and I were, and I engaged him, and hopefully he was out of bullets. I had a .357 Magnum revolver, 6 shots, and I would have been the criminal. I would have been the one going to jail, because that's California. So regardless of where you folks stand on the aisle, if you're on the left or you're on the right, Gavin Newsom is working diligently to strip you of your constitutional rights. Where did this guy buy his firearm? Moreover, the high capacity magazines. That was well over 10 shots that were fired. And here I am, the law abider, with a wheel gun, because I don't want to be in trouble, right? And I had a sling backpack with my hand on my pistol and a bag in my left hand. And I'm prepared to defend my life and my wife and these people that I don't even know. And I would have been the criminal. So regardless of where these people stand, these politicians think that we need to ask them for permission for our rights. And that to me is insane. So when you go to vote, man, just do your homework is all I'm asking. Do your homework. Whether they're on the left or they're on the right. If they're not pro Second Amendment, if they're not pro Constitution, pro First Amendment, you don't have a First Amendment without the Second Amendment. That's why the Second Amendment was written, to protect the First. And your First Amendment, they want to censor you, what you can and can't say. This channel, for example, is censorship. Oh, you can't have more than 30 rounds or whatever. None of my guns do. But I don't have any full automatic weapons or anything like that. But they want a censorship. So if you guys don't know, your First Amendment is freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, and freedom to petition your government for redress of grievances. And that is so important. But you don't have those rights if you don't have a firearm to back it, because those with guns make the rules. And if you don't believe me, look at North Korea, look at China, look at Russia. They just don't allow any old people to have firearms. You cannot defend yourself. And if you can't defend yourself, you are a controlled society. So I'm trying to not get political, but I'm just preaching to the choir, I know. And it just pains me to experience these things. This is 2 shootings now I've been in. First one was in Packard Bell in 1996 on February 12th. Puck Bowie came to work after he got publicly discharged, terminated, in front of everyone, and he shot the building up in production. And I was standing right there, and when I heard the shots, I was thinking, where's the pallets? Why are there pallets falling down? And it was noisy in there anyway, but that's how your brain tries to make sense of things that's happening. And there he was, and he was reloading, and I was frozen standing there looking at him, and he just looked at me, and I turned around and walked away. And I was thinking, I just need to leave. And fortunately that day, he was the only one that got shot. So a security guard shot him in the right shoulder, I believe, if I'm thinking correct. I mean, that was a long time ago. That was 29 years ago. And he survived, and he went to prison, and as far as I know, he's still in prison. But here we are, fish in a barrel, all because of Gavin Newsom and his left-wing, tyrannical governing policies that restrict us from protecting ourselves. It's just disgusting. So I would hope that you guys would all take this with a grain of salt for what it's worth, and apply it and vote. You know, California was a beautiful place, and I know that Gavin's running for president. He wants to anyway in 28. He can't even run the state of California. The state of California was the absolute jewel. It was a crown jewel, and it's an absolute cesspool. Uh, Nothing good has happened, and everybody that's in charge, that's on the left side, look at the LA fires. LA is a disaster area. It's a war zone. Uh, the Palisades that was in Malibu too. These multi-million-dollar homes gone, and because there was no water in reservoirs, all over piss poor management. If these people were in public, or if they were in private businesses, they'd be fired. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. I can't thank you enough. And thank you for listening to me. I'm out here on the range today. I think what I'm going to do is that guy, the shooter, Saturday night, he was about 25 yards away. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to use the pistol that I had with the bag that I had on, and I'm going to set up a target at approximately 25 yards. And I'm just going to engage 6 times with 357 full magnum loads and see if I can engage. Minus the pucker factor. So being that it was all over, but you know, praise God. I give him all the praise and all the glory that he was in control. We ask for the armor of God each and every day, and he protected us Saturday, and he protected that other family, and I just I can't thank him enough. So once again, thank you all very much for tuning in. I'm going to pause it and set up the target, and then just do the 6 shots real fast, and then probably call it a day. All right, stand by. All right, so this is the bag that I had on me, and I had, after the shots, I put my bag on. I just rearranged it because I usually just flip it so it's over my back. But what I have in here is a Smith & Wesson Model 65.5. It's a 357 3-inch stainless steel. I do have full mat. Yep. So these are reloads, but it's target ammo. But they're loaded, man. They're fairly warm. Pretty spicy, as some guys would say it. But they're target ammo, and California, they'll prosecute you because they're reloads and they're super killers. Well, dead is dead, and I mean, I wouldn't tell them anything. I would talk to my lawyer. So if you ever shoot somebody, you need to lawyer up. I need counsel. That should be the only thing that you say to the cops. I need counsel. So not giving you legal advice. I'm not a lawyer, but that's what I'm going to tell you. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this in here. Engage the target. Let me turn this around real quick so the volume's going to cut out. Stand by. There's my target. Let me zoom in. You can see that there's no holes on it already. And that is at the 25-yard line. That road cone that's out there, it's a little bit beyond that, as you can tell. So I'm gonna pause it, and then I'll start it again because I don't want shaky camera work like I'm already getting. Sorry about that, guys. Oops, and my fingers are in the way. I'm just doing so good. Oh my goodness. So hopefully I can do this without the camera getting all wonky. All right, here we go. So I'm standing there, I'm talking to my wife. Pow, 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 pow. More than that, I was just like, holy cow. And, you know, looking around, your head's on a swivel. And if that guy would have come into the parking garage, like I said, we were approximately 25 yards away from where the shooting happened. And there was an exit on the east end of the parking garage. It's an exit and an entry for pedestrians. So from where the shooting took place, that's where he would have come in, and that's where we were parked. So let me just try to do this, pulling it out. Fast as I can. That was 6 shots. Weapons emptying on the table, and again, I'm the only one, weapons emptying on the table. I'm the only one out here. So let's head on down here and see how well I did. And being indoors, no hearing protection, that would have been absolutely devastating. So I fired 6 shots. I see 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. This is a pistol too. I really don't shoot very often, and that's a pretty far shot, but you can tell, you know, one of those that probably would have killed him. All 3 of those, if nothing else, he would have bled out. But you know, I'd be in deep trouble. I would have been the criminal. Funny how that works, huh? You're protecting yourself. But there's also 3 rounds here too that are unaccounted for. Just like all of his. Where did they all go? It's pretty scary when you think about it. I wasn't really aiming. I was fairly quick, and those were double action. I'm not making excuses. What this tells me, my results, I need to spend more time on this pistol and working at 25 yards. Maybe even further than that also. So this is normally not, like I said, a pistol that I carry. I usually carry my 40. You guys have seen me shoot at 50 yards and connect. So using a revolver is a little bit different. But anyways, that's the video. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. We're at 16 and a half minutes. Oh my gosh. A lot to say. And hopefully you guys tuned in and listened to what I'm saying. So thank you so much, very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have a blessed day. Open fire out.